Welcome to. Today is the Cherie show, plus the Angela show, plus the Paula show, plus the Vicki show. And everybody out there in our world met Miss Vicki yesterday when she sang How Great Thou Art to you. And oh my goodness, I got such positive response and great messages from y'all. And thank you very much for saying that it touched your heart, that yesterday was a program that everybody needed. Every single person in this world has a failure in their pocket. Every single person in this world should have an accomplishment in their pocket, and today we're going to talk about that with some very strong women. I happen to be surrounded with strong women because I probably couldn't get through some of the craziness I've been through without their strength, and I think that's what we're going to share today. We're going to share the idea that you can make a difference in somebody's life. And we have to all say good day to Miss Jenny, who is our belle that is missing. So, Paula, you got a message for Sister Jen?
Oh, yes. Get well.
Get well.
Hurry, get well. We miss you when you're not with us.
Vicki, how did we make it without Jenny today?
I don't know. I'm still kind of not making it as well as I could have.
The queen is here. The princess should be right here with us. So, and Angela, you know that together we work better.
We just have to be a little stronger without her, right?
That's right. That's right. And you're bringing strength that kind of blows my mind, because you have overcome a whole lot of stuff, and we're going to share all of this and how when you overcome something, you have the ability to teach somebody else. To never let it stop you, never let it hold you down, to just come on and be the best that you can ever possibly be. So that's what today's program is going to be about. As always, we do birthdays, and today I have a lot of birthdays, and one of them starts with a very special man. Last year, Charlene and I were on here when she came back to co-host for a short time while she had the little college break. She had said losing Charles, the love of her life, was going to be the hardest thing ever to deal with, and she didn't know how she was going to make it. And I kept saying, the Lord has something amazing in mind for you. And I said, you just hold on. Amazing is just around the corner. Well, amazing came in the form of Scott Youngblood. So this morning, we are celebrating his birthday. We're also celebrating the fact that she is moving on to a new part of her life. She had a wonderful husband for many years. He went to be with the Lord, and things changed. So if something is going wrong with you, just know that it can change. Scott Youngblood, happy birthday to you. To Michael Nichols, happy birthday. To Christina Wigington, to Deborah Satterfield, to Allie Davis, to Amanda Fountain, to Kathleen Bradley, to Cammie Southern, to Nancy Jackson, I love you, Nancy, to Rhonda Mullins, Thomas Williams, and Heidi Ray. Happy birthday to each and every one of you. I hope that today will be a very special day. Now, ladies, last week we celebrated Princess Jenny at a beautiful facility down in the Macedonia community. And y'all, we talked a little bit about the lawnmower girl. And when we were going through the area and I told y'all the story, did y'all think I was kidding?
No.
When I said my
I've heard enough of your stories now to know you're not kidding.
Angela actually rode Victoria to school on a lawnmower on Highway 20. And I had not been down that road in many, many years. So to make that trip with y'all Friday was fun. And it was kind of uplifting for me because it brought me to a place that I can talk about my kid now and not cry all the time. And that was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool. So thanks for being a part of me being able to laugh again, because is laughter not the best medicine ever?
It
Absolutely.
is, indeed.
Absolutely. Now, Vicki, yesterday when we shared your music, can we just go ahead and say you could have, Freddie said this, and I said, boy, what a compliment. He listened to your music and he said, she's better than that woman that won the voice over in England, that Susan Boyle. He said, she's better than her. And he said, why didn't she go and do this? Can we share a little bit about you being a mom and you not pursuing this career that it was a God-given talent? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
When did you first start singing?
Oh my goodness, when I was a kid. The very first time I ever sang publicly, I was in middle school. I think I was in 6th or 7th grade, and I sang One Tin Soldier. That was when all the Billy Jack movies were so popular, and
Yeah.
that was a very popular song at the time. And I sang that in a talent show, and actually I got a standing ovation,
Yay.
which, well, it blew me away. You know, you can imagine as a child, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I was, my family was not wealthy, and so I was not part of the hip crowd or the in crowd, and to see the appreciation from them for
was
the
great.
talent that God had given me. And I sang in church, and I always told the Lord, you gave me this, and I will use it for you. And I have used it exclusively for my Jesus, but I did make one exception, and that was I would sing to my husband in the car, and I would sing for him and to him, but mostly it was I sang at church, did solos. People would ask me to sing at their wedding and sometimes at a funeral, and I'd visit churches.
Will you sing at my funeral?
That's
I
right.
won't be able to sing, but I'll play a recording for you.
That's right. There you go. There you go. Well, you know, you have this God-given talent that you could have used it or losed it, and you used it. You know, because I tell people you use it or you lose it. And Paula, you're an example. You are an amazing artist, and you could have said, "I don't have time for this, and I don't want to do this." Did you ever have lessons, or did you just this is God-given talent?
I had a talent from the beginning. I always loved to draw, and when I was little, I would have a paper doll and I would make clothes for it. I wanted to be a fashion designer, and I'd draw the clothes out and then I'd color them, and I had more paper dolls than anybody did.
I love it.
But then as I did a little bit in my art, but one day Jean Boring came in and told us at Bent Tree that she had found this artist, Brenda Tustian, and she had agreed.
Who is amazing.
Oh, she
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
She is just great. And that she would come to Bent Tree and give us lessons. And I said, oh gosh, why didn't she? I want to do oils. I don't want to do watercolors. I'm afraid of watercolors. But I went ahead and took the lesson, fell in love with watercolors. Brenda is still one of my very best friends in the world, and I thank her all the time. But after that, I did go to a lot of schools and went to work with people like Zoltan Szabo and people like that, and I took a lot of lessons from them.
And you learn. And,
Yes.
and you know,
I
that's
won't
one of the
quit
things we want to
learning.
share today. If you're a woman out there today and you're thinking, I can't do this, if you watch somebody do it and you watch them succeed, I am not a good, I guess I'm okay as a planner, but I don't execute. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I wish that would happen. You're a great executionist. You can make things happen, and you are very structured, and I love that about you. And it comes a bit from your German heritage.
I would say so, yeah.
Definitely.
But wherever it comes from, I'm happy that I have it.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And Angela, when you do a wedding, it doesn't matter if the wedding is for a party of 12 or a party of 1,200. You want everybody that day to feel that they left there with the greatest experience ever.
Yeah, I like to entertain privately. I also like to plan events, and really I want for that person the best day. So I give my best, and I love to decorate. So my personal home is decorated in the way it is unique, different perhaps than yours. And for a wedding or other celebrations, people would like to have the place nicely decorated, and I really like to do that. I love to do that, and hopefully I have the chance to do that soon for my daughter. So
Yes, because Catherine is engaged now.
yeah.
She's a University of Georgia graduate and engaged to another grad. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he is a little older, and he also graduated from UGA, and so they are planning to get married. They just got engaged, and so all the preparations start now about the invitation cards and the flowers and the colors, and so we are slowly moving forward. I think I would like to do it a little faster, but it is something totally new for a bride to start, so it's definitely a challenge to prepare that and plan. and I'm happy to advise, but as a mom, also back up.
That's right. Now, what color has she chosen?
The movie Magnolia.
Steel Magnolia?
Yeah.
Bashful and Blush, of course.
Yeah.
Bashful and Blush. That's the color of Dawn's wedding. It was Bashful and Blush, and we turned Cool Springs Baptist Church into a Pepto-Bismol hall. Because everything was pink, and it was
needs
so
to be
gorgeous.
very soft.
This was very
Very
soft. It was
soft.
very soft. We decided that we bought every pale pink rose this side of the Mississippi because we did it. We did the Steel Magnolia's wedding, and it was so beautiful. And it's such a complimentary color to your face. Actually, I wore pink today, and it's funny because I hadn't worn this shirt in a long time, and I feel like a butterfly billboard sitting here. So it's kind of weird, but pink is such a, like this color pink is so beautiful. And it's so beautiful, and it's so calming. So that'll be wonderful.
And it's for every hair color, face, everything matches.
There you go. Yeah.
And
All the
Catherine-
bridesmaids will look beautiful.
Yes.
They anyhow do.
Yeah.
Catherine is a beautiful, beautiful girl, like
Yeah.
her mom, and
Yeah,
she is
yeah.
going to be the most beautiful bride.
It will be exceptional. When you find something that you love and you excel at it, then I think you've pleased God. I think that He looks down and says, "Good job."
What you do to others pleases Him.
Exactly.
So I give my best for another human being or several, and then He is happy
Yeah,
about
I
that.
trimmed my mustache this morning just for you.
Well, we had said having y'all together is nothing like having the view, because we're here with possibilities, and I think that is something. In this world, it is possible for a woman to accomplish anything she sets her mind to do. We have seen that with Kellyanne Conway just did the most amazing presidential campaign in the world.
Oh, didn't she?
As she was a mother of 4 children. And when we think about it, you're raising your kids, you're running a business, your mom first, but then your business comes first, and then your children want to know, why have you thrown them aside, and why are they not, why didn't you get to my ball game, Mom? Well, I was running a presidential campaign, I'm sorry I missed that. But women can do it all, and there's a possibility that we can exceed and do well at everything we set our minds to. And then, when failure comes, what do? You suck it up and do it again.
Absolutely.
You don't stop.
Just go on a new road.
That's it.
Because you can't sit there in that middle of that road and cry. You've just got to start up that mountain.
That's it. And I think that's something. Now, I wanted to share, I know what my mother's personality was. I would love to have met your mom, because your mom raised amazingly kind daughters.
Well, thank you.
And I would love to have met her. Are you all a product of your mother or your father? Who was your greatest influence?
I think the both of them, because they worked together continuously. And I never heard them have a fuss. I never heard them argue. And it was always, just loving. And we didn't have much of anything, but they gave us more than we could ever pay them back for.
Right.
Because they, they were there when we were sick with kindness and love, and they taught us that you have to love other people, and God intends for us to love one another. And that's what He puts in our soul, that we give back. And that's what we try to do.
Right. Now, Vicki, your mom's beginning of her life was very, very tough. To be a mom with 3 babies, a year apart, 3 kids, and to not have any kind of aid available to her, she toughed it out and she made it on her own, didn't she?
Oh, she did, yeah. And some things you don't really appreciate until you're an adult and you're looking back and you understand, wow, if I had to do that. But yeah, my mom, she was amazing. And she supported not only the 3 children, but her mother as well came and lived with me. My grandmother lived with us for most of my life growing up. And my mom took care of us all. And the one thing that I've told my mom over and over, because she feels guilty that she was not able to give us more materially. What was so important is we never, ever, not once did we have to wonder, does my mama want me? Because you hear so often of children who are given away, or we never had to worry about that. We knew we were loved and we knew we were wanted. And my mom well, she's still a very beautiful woman, but at the time she was movie star beautiful, and she had many opportunities to marry, but a couple of those opportunities didn't include the children. It was kind of like, well, let your children. One gentleman in particular that if I'm remembering the story correctly, he wanted her to go out to California with him, and we would stay with the grandparents.
Wow.
Or with my grandmother,
Wow.
and then they would send for us later. And my mama was, no, it wasn't an option. We were always first. And again, sometimes you don't realize until you're an adult, because she was so busy surviving, putting food on the table for us.
I'm thinking in the late 50s, the minimum wage was probably, what, $1.25 an hour?
Well, this would have been the late 60s.
Very good.
But anyway, it was. Anyway, no, my grandmother was severely burned when my mom was in the 10th grade in high school. And my mom had to quit school and take care of my grandmother. I mean, she almost died. She was burned, oh my goodness, I think maybe at least 50% of her body. And I can remember growing up seeing the scars, when I would help her. She suffered so much in so many ways. So my mom worked in labor positions, and she worked hard. And we didn't, you mentioned Steel Magnolias earlier, that movie. That's not the kind of life that we lived. My mom was literally wearing herself out to put food on the table. And not only for us, but the kids in the neighborhood would come and eat my grandmother was a fantastic cook, and she would cook butter beans and mashed potatoes. One day it'd be mashed potatoes and butter beans, the next day it'd be pinto beans and potato salad.
Fried potatoes.
Beans and taters.
That's what we lived on.
And she would feed the neighborhood, which just about bankrupted her.
But she couldn't turn down anyone who might be hungry.
Oh, never.
Yeah.
And she has a heart for those who maybe feel unwanted or unloved. And she's always been very generous in that regard. But in that environment, we didn't have this warm, cuddly mom-daughter relationship. It was not until I was an adult and figured things out. Number one, and I don't know if my mom will ever see this show, but Mama, if you do, you should remember this. I apologized to my mom at one time for being such a
Brat.
That's a good word. If we ever remember, 13, 15 years old, I was difficult. And I apologized to her for being so difficult. But not only that, my mom now she's my best friend. I would not have survived losing my true love had it not been for my mama. And I'm getting emotional about it now.
That's okay.
But she's
special
she was
lady.
an influence. I didn't realize it at the time, but she was an influence to me. And just
we
that
are always, and we have to remember that we as moms, we have an influence like our moms have.
That's right.
And
Now, Angela, coming from Germany, I know the few German women I know are very strong and often very tough. Was your mother, tell me her personality.
Well, I think she was one of the weak moms. And I don't want to say she could have done better. I think for that time, she was also a single mom in the first 2 years. She couldn't accept her pregnancy. So it was at that time very difficult for a woman to be pregnant and not married.
Right.
And her weakness, I don't know why she couldn't find her strength. I could say perhaps her parents didn't support her, and as far as I know, they were not really on her side, which is very hard if you are pregnant and totally alone, I just assume. So her weakness had a big influence on me. I knew I was not welcome. She told me that she didn't want me, and she put me for 2 years into a foster home. But that was I think she had to deal with a situation that from the inside she didn't want me. Financially, she couldn't keep me. So her weakness had an influence in my life all my life. I never felt welcome. I grew up with my grandma. She was my mother till we moved together. When I was 7, my brother was born. My mom got married when I was 2, and they got me out of the foster home, but I went to my grandmother, and my grandfather just came out of the Russian
Concentration camps?
I don't think they have concentration camps, but he was in
Like
jail.
Elizabeth's family was
In jail, and exactly,
Yes,
that
yes,
was it.
yeah.
So he was a hard worker, but he also, when you have been 3 years in the Russian situation, I mean in jail, let's say it this way, it must have been horrible for him, and coming back, and then he had raised his 3 sons, and then I was there. His youngest son was still at home. He was some years older than I was. So I think a weak mom influenced the children, and she didn't find her strength. And that was for me always a warning sign. You should not do it. And then at the end, I had these years too. I had these years when my husband passed away. My daughter was 7 years old, and I was very weak. And I
So
regret
you almost
that.
understand your mother now.
Yeah, definitely
yeah.
I understand her.
Yeah.
And I wish she passed away last year. I wish I could have talked to her about it, but she was so closed up with that. She didn't want to talk about it. There was no way that she opened up. And so
See, the German women I know are just like what you're describing your mother. They don't open up, and I don't understand that. It has to be a protective mode they put themselves in.
Yeah, my grandmother was a very strong woman. She was with her kids on farms during the war and was helping the farmers to get milk and potatoes and food for the kids, and that was all what they get. She was a tough cookie. I really liked her attitude, and I don't know what it is that, I don't want to say German women are strong or weak. I think we are all the same. The people around us, if they don't help us, it's hard to get strong. If you have a great friend, it's easier. And if you have God in your life, that's my point, where I finally learned to get strong. And he gave me this strength, and I found my way to church and to Jesus when I lost my husband already. I was about 8 years alone. And then finally I found through the cowboy church in Jasper my way to God, and that helped me to be strong. But till then I was also, for my daughter, pretty weak, and I made mistakes. And yeah, there are moments that I regret, but I also know, let it go, move forward with God's help. You need to be strong now and help her and show her how you are now. And on the other hand, you know, I'm not only German, I'm also Italian. That balances out.
Explains a lot.
Listen, we have to also throw this in. You've been in Georgia 18 years. You are Southern German. That's just
Because
the end
I
of
like
story.
pearls. I read that on Facebook. You are a Southern girl if you like pearls. And I thought, yep.
I want to share something with you, Angela, because our stories are so similar. I want you to hold this up.
Yes, I will.
This is how women used to dress in maternity outfits. And for you girls out there that have that baby bump that you're always exposing, see the tummy hole where mama, this was my mama's maternity outfit. My mother was also an
It looks like
unwed.
one of Lucy that
cool.
Lucy wore
Yes,
on TV.
exactly.
does,
It looks
doesn't
just
it?
like Ricky and Lucy. My mother made this herself
Oh,
for
it's
herself.
beautiful.
60 some odd years ago when she was pregnant, an unwed mother. But you mentioned pearls. Look at the pearls
little
that
yeah.
were added. So Mother was truly a Southern woman, but when you think about this is displayed in a cabinet in my bedroom to remind me that my life would have been very different. Mother covered the buttons. I mean, she went to great detail to make herself a beautiful maternity outfit, even though she was pregnant and unwed. She was so proud of us, and it didn't matter to her that she was a pregnant, unwed mother after she faced my grandmother. You know, facing her mother was the toughest thing. But Mother was always so proud of us, and that is something, you know, you and I are looking at a generation of women that it was shameful to be expecting and not be married, and it was really, really tough. And our mothers overcame all of that. My mother did it by being very, very strong. Your mother did it a different way. But in the end, look at the amazing daughters they had.
Right, and
Look
you
at
know,
us.
it should be a great example for moms today. Even if the time we say it was bad that time, I think it's still not easy today if you are not married. And these women should be so happy. I loved my big belly. So I think if they know there were thousands of women who went through this too, and they made it, and they have wonderful children, and they can be proud of them, and they did something for other people. I mean, they are there for a reason.
Right.
And that's what I think. I feel very strong that my mom, who didn't want me, and that I'm still here.
Yep. Tough is,
And I mean, we are there for a reason, and God showed us, and now it's on us to do something for others, and that's definitely one of the things I think that women who are pregnant today and are not married, they should know you can go through it. Look for the right help, friends, moms, and I hope that all the parents who have kids who are pregnant support them. Please support them because it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely,
It's really worth it.
definitely. Well, girls, we've got to take a commercial break because if we don't, I'm going to be shot. So we're going to take a commercial break, and we're also going to share one of Vicki's songs. And Vicki, can you set us up for this song because it's one that your husband absolutely loved?
Well, I'll start crying when I start thinking about my husband. This is one, and I told you guys earlier that he said early on in our relationship, he played my tape, wore it out. I'm surprised it still plays. If anything ever happens to me, play these two songs at my funeral. And of course, at the time, don't be silly. But I did lose him unexpectedly, and I played this song and another, and the whole premise of this song, all of my songs are to glorify God and the Lord Jesus. And
so here we go.
this is meaningful because, again, like I said earlier, it's for my Lord and it's for my husband too.
There you go. All right, we're going to go to a break and a little music from Vicki. We'll be back shortly.
Oh Lord, my God,
Okay, we are back live at ETC, and today is a day to celebrate women, to celebrate accomplishing. And Angela, you want to talk about being weak or strong, and we've talked about your mom and your decision to be strong. You're very strong, although you went through that weak place. I hit the weakness, then I get strong, then I get weak, then I get strong. It's kind of like one of those things we used to do when it would go down the steps, and it was
Slinky.
slinky. I feel like a slinky some days. I'm up, I'm down, I'm going down the steps, and then all of a sudden you get exactly where you feel is comfortable, and it works. That's scary because when things are all leveled out, you're like, uh-oh,
What's gonna
happen next? What's going to happen next? And then you kind of, do you think God has a sense of humor?
I know he does.
I know he does. I know he does. Because one night you were having a bad weekend. I think it was around Dawn's birthday, and I told you to watch James Gregory. And you did. And you laughed. And you said, oh my gosh, he's so funny. And I thought, we all have to come out of whatever we're facing, and we have to laugh again, and we have to smile again. And you have to kind of look at the picture and say, I was making a to-do list of things we need to finish in ball ground. And when I finished the list, and I thought, this is not anything I would have ever thought I'd been doing. And I just laughed, and I thought, I stood in the kitchen last night, and I looked, and I thought, I have this amazing country kitchen right in downtown Ball Ground.
It is amazing.
I am right in town. I can walk to anything I want to walk to, or I can get in the car and drive if
There
I
you
want
go.
to. But
I got a bad
But
knee.
how amazing is it to go from what it was to what it is, and it fits perfect. It is just like, why couldn't this have happened sooner in my life? And I told you my favorite saying is, I wish I'd met you sooner so I could love you longer. And that applies to all of you because
thank
you. I've known Paula a long time, but Paula was the world traveler. I was busy. Freddie played a song last night. It was a 70s or 80s song, and he said, do you not know that song? I said, no. I said, I was too busy raising kids and working 3 jobs, and I didn't even listen to the radio during that period of our time. There's a period of time in all our lives that wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
There's a period of time in all our lives that we were like, are we going to make it through this?
Right.
But look at us today.
But you can think about perhaps 10 years ago, you didn't need me as a friend. I came into your life
When I needed you. Yes.
when it was the right time.
Yes.
And so with Vicki, she lost her husband. She was pretty fresh in this situation. And then I met her, or she met me, however you want to say it.
How did you two actually meet?
At this event where Susan invited us. The first time, I know her forever, but the first time she invited me. And I didn't want to go because it was a way I didn't know, a direction I didn't know. And then I thought, well, you need to get out.
Yeah.
And then she was there. Didn't really want to
She's
go
kind of
because
like a magnet to you want to be with her. You want to be around her. You
not
wanna be
every day, not
encouraged
every
by-
day, okay?
You must be talking about Susan, our friend Susan, yeah. That's funny because I didn't want to go either because I was fresh in my
Isn't
grief
that
and
weird?
I just didn't feel like I could
And
survive.
I mean, we met to the right time. And I think, I could perhaps needed you some years before, but you couldn't give me the same input.
You didn't call?
I didn't call, but
I would've-
think about it. Your life was different. You had a business life, married life, me single. What do you want with me, right? So I didn't match in that time. We didn't match. And we met when the time was right. And I think same here. So it's just the way it is. And we should take it that we meet people on the road and we have to find out, are they good friends, good people? Yes, take them. If not, then go
Pass
your
and
way.
repass. My
Pass
granny
and-
would say, now don't be mean, just pass and repass.
Yeah, exactly.
many
I
a
can't
time.
say
That's a
it
good
that
one.
well, but that's
Yes.
what I mean.
Yeah,
And I think it's in the Bible also that you should look out with whom you are socializing. So
Mama would say, you're known by the company you keep.
There you
So
go.
I'm now known by some amazing women, some amazing, strong women. And, we were talking about Jenny on the way up here today. Jenny is the one that is sweeter than sugar and stronger than steel.
That's right.
She is sweeter than sugar
totally a
and
steel
stronger than
magnolia.
steel. Yes. because she can be everything and everything pleasant, but do not get in her way and do not stop her from accomplishing what she's going to do, because she's going to do it. And you might as well just move out of the way.
A lot of it. I've never seen anyone so busy. I've watched her and you with all of the responsibilities
like, are
to the
y'all crazy?
organizations. And I'm like, whoa.
We just keep piling it on.
It's
But
crazy.
It's great though. It makes us strong to see accomplishments that we can make. And like for instance, when we did the gala, the art gala in that tacky old community building.
I love that community building. Don't you be down on my community building.
It was tacky as
It
it could
needed
be.
some work.
But
It was a
we
diamond
turned
in the rough.
we turned it into a French.
It's beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
It was
French
beautiful.
castle.
and
It was like a French outdoor
Courtyard.
scene.
Yeah.
A cafe
And it was, we had a
type
cafe.
atmosphere.
We
Yeah.
had-
And
It was beautiful.
forever we have Kathy's beautiful art
oh yes.
from
yes,
the Paris
yes,
scene
yes.
to remember.
We need to tell the people that Kathy passed away,
Yeah.
and those of you who don't know it, but she just recently, and she was one of my best friends in the whole wide world. We loved to paint together. We loved to do things together, and it left a big hole in my heart, and in a lot of hearts.
We sat gathered around the casket Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about that's really not where you want to start the Christmas season. But when we think about that, she had a bell on her jacket.
Yeah.
And Vicki had bought all of us bells, little bell pins for Christmas. And it was important to you that Kathy do her homegoing with that bell on her, because
Yeah.
she was truly a belle of ball ground.
Yeah, she was.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And to be there to support each other. And, you know, often we find ourselves walking into a situation where you are consoling and comforting somebody else, and it takes you back to where you've been.
Yes,
And it's not a
it
pleasant
does.
trip, but you have to do that. That is what Steel Magnolias do.
That's right.
Well, and a
You know.
great metaphor, if I could interject this, is, and about Kathy, she came to my house and gave me a watercolor art lesson. And with much laughter and much patience, we determined I'm not a watercolor artist.
I love it.
But as she was leaving, she said over and over, don't give up, don't
Yeah,
stop.
don't ever.
You might not be good with watercolors, but you might be good with acrylics. And y'all might not know this, I am what was that thing we did at that collage? I am a
Yeah.
collage
Yeah,
expert.
you do.
I
Yeah.
can layer on paper over and over, and I can do that. But she said, don't give up, don't stop. And
I'm not going to let you stop.
well, Angela and I went with our friend Susan, and we painted cardinals in acrylics, and they were actually recognizable as cardinals.
Somebody knew it was a cardinal.
Yeah. And that was kind of a tribute to Kathy when she passed away. As you said, don't stop, and I did.
And don't you stop.
And I'm not. And thank you, Kathy, for that art lesson. I'll treasure that.
You see this little lady, her name is Bessie. And Bessie was part of a collection. You know, we all have the best part of our life and the worst part of our life. The best part of my life ever was the life that I traveled for 9 years promoting gift items that we made for Kroger, the world's largest florist. And I was lucky enough to have a team of about 26 men and women who worked under my direction, and I would say, this is what I want to accomplish and this is how I want to do this. And then Bonnie Lacey hand painted thousands of Bessies and thousands of John Henrys and thousands of little Lacey's, and I named them after people I loved. And it was interesting because when I chose, I did Mama the Biscuit Maker, which was my amazing little 4'11" mother-in-law who made awesome biscuits. And then I did Lily Jane, the frail little grandmother, and she was done out of antique linens. And then I did Homer the fisherman, because he was just laid back sitting there fishing. And I always chose personalities that I admired. And when I chose Shelby was the first beautiful pale pink. We did her just after seeing Steel Magnolias, and I always turned them over on their rear end and I signed their butt. And this was done in 1989, and it was number 10. And we did thousands of these, but I signed Shelby and I sent her to Julia Roberts' mama in Atlanta. And I said, I don't know if you want to keep this or give it to your daughter, but I want her to know what her character Shelby meant to me as a businesswoman starting out. because I started Appalachian Memories with a couple of $100, a dream, and a husband telling me that you don't have time to fool with that crap. You need to be running this trucking company. You don't have time to do that. I heard it every single day. What do you think you're doing? How do you think you're going to travel? How do you think you're going to do this? Nothing but negativity. And I turned that negativity into total electric positivity.
Good for you.
Because if he said I couldn't, I said I would. And if he said you're not going to, I said I did. And so I did it, and I would travel to these trade shows, and I met my #1 sales rep. I'll never forget it, in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I was in my little space, and then 4 booths down he was. And at the end of the show, he came up there and he said, "Hi, I'm Paul Kruger from Omaha, Nebraska, and I want to know what's your story." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm 4 booths down," and he said, "By the time they get to me, they're still talking about you and all the stuff you do." He said, I want to know more about you." I put him to work, and every year that he worked for me, he made a lot of money, and he made me a lot of money, and he was a very good guy because he wasn't threatened by a successful woman. Paul was a wonderful, wonderful friend, still friends today, and he took me to places I never thought about traveling to New England and promoting these products. I never thought about going to California and promoting these products. I was just happy in the Southeast because that was my comfort zone. And Paul Kruger saw me as an amazing force. And he told me one day, he said, "You are a force to be reckoned with." He said, "I'll call in an order and tell you there's no way you can get this done, and you'll do it." He said, "I don't get you, but I like you," you know. And I think having a negative person telling me that I couldn't accomplish that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Having an absent father who was never there to give me credit was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it made me stronger. It made me want to be all that I could be, so if my daddy ever showed up, he could say, "Well, she's okay," you know?
Yeah.
All I wanted was for my daddy to say, "Well, she's okay." He never showed up, and that was really hard. But from that, I did Vera Allred was one of my favorite characters, and we did her, Miss Vera. And when I wrote on the tag, I did a little description of what I felt Miss Vera was. And Miss Vera sounded a lot like your mama. You know, it was like Shelby sounded like all Southern women, you know. And it really brought me out of a place that I thought I couldn't sing, I couldn't paint, but I could produce and share the love I had for other things with the whole world.
But the one thing about you that I admire so much, you can do anything you want to. Because once you set your mind to it, you cook better than anybody I know.
I can't paint, Paul.
But
I can't sing. Freddie will tell you that. I couldn't sing.
But if you, well, that's a talent. That's not something that you can produce. But if there's something that you want to do, you go after it and you get it. I've never seen anybody take a double wide take a double wide trailer and turn it into the Taj Mahal, you know. Well, come on.
And it's been such a labor of love.
And it's so beautiful.
Every moment has been amazing.
It's a positive attitude.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, this cup says it all. Make today amazing. And so today we want each of you to make today amazing. And we're going to get rid of our cups, and we're going to go to, where's that, girls? The ginger ale. Yay! Let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to toast, and we're going to salute every woman in America who is out there today thinking, I have hit this stumbling block, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I can't accomplish this. And how did they do what they did? Vicki overcame a failed, really tough marriage to end up in a situation that was perfect for her. Her singing is now shared with people worldwide, thanks to her friend who said it's time to do this. And I said each of us has something inside us that we can share with other people. Bonnie Lacey, who today I would give anything if I had gone to Alabama and seen her mama right before she passed away, because Bonnie said when she cleaned out her mama's house there was more of pictures of me in her house than there was of her kids. But I adored this woman. She was a very strong, very wonderful woman, and my favorite recipe will always be Miss Olga's cookies. They're in my cookbook, and it's Miss Olga Burgess's cookies, and they are the most fantastic cookies you ever put in your mouth. Each woman who is sitting out there saying, well, I'm not really talented, this is for you, because each and every one of you has something out there that you can share, that you can give, that you can teach somebody else, and you truly can make a difference. In your failures, you can make a difference, because when you come out of that failure, then people go, oh, well, if she can do it, anybody can come out of that. You know, and I think that's the thing we all need to learn. So, okay, girls, to each and every woman out there today, do well, live well, laugh, make the day the most that it can possibly be by starting with a positive attitude. And I think that is the whole key to this. You know, Angela, you've been up against a brick wall for a while. We're going to remove that wall. We said there's going to be a wall built. We're going to tear down a wall. We're in the tearing down business now. And Paula, you have overcome so much. But you do it. You just do it.
And you have to just do it.
You just
you
do
don't
it.
have a
you
choice.
just do it. And Vicki has now 2 years into overcoming the loss of the love of your life. And you are laughing again. And James Gregory, thank you very much for that. Because when you talk about fat old women eating pound cake, it just makes people laugh. But that's what it's about. It's about overcoming anything you're facing, no matter what you've hit, whether it be the economy, and God bless us all for continuing to try to make a difference in somebody's life, whether it's showing up with a bowl of Brunswick stew you made, or showing up with a plate of food, or showing up with beautiful handmade cards, or just giving us the singing that you've shared with us, to be able to just bless somebody.
Everybody has a talent, and if they share that talent, that's wonderful.
That's
because God gives it to them.
And don't forget to say I love you to special people, because that sometimes makes their day.
Yes.
To say it to your children, to your parents, to your brother, sister, and your friends, because sometimes they need to hear that.
Yeah,
I know sometimes on Facebook, and I'm real bad to be on Facebook, but I love it. And when I get through talking to people through the Facebook, I put at the end of it a lot of times, God just says, say, I love you. And I do it. You may think I'm crazy about doing it, but I mean it.
Yeah. And that person may need that one little sentence that day, just that one little sentence. We all have the ability to make that difference. So I'm so glad y'all were here today. Tomorrow is going to be a day of total strength, and this is male power tomorrow. Ed Stepp is going to be with me. He is a dear, dear friend who has overcome colon cancer. He is one of those guys who fought the system, who insisted on having a colonoscopy when it wasn't time to have it. They found colon cancer. His dad had passed away from colon cancer. He is now doing great, and he's at the oncologist today, and we are praying for great results today. He's going to be with me tomorrow, so it is going to be a fun day. It is going to be a good, positive, strong day, because, you know, in all our lives, even though my dad wasn't there, and often I was looking for that male figure I think that's why I'm attracted to strong men like Ed, because I needed to see a good, strong, positive male. So there you go. We're going to leave you now where rivers, mountains, and good friends meet. Right here at ETC TV3. We're going to leave you on Facebook too. We will see you again. And don't forget, we'll be re-airing tonight at 6 o'clock and again at 1 a.m. for you late nighters. We'll see you again soon.
You got me looking on the ground.